Welcome, everyone, to another edition of My People, My People. I am Eric, your host for this continuing talk and thought extravaganza. Now, typically, I would have some intro music, but for some reason, YouTube blocked me. I was going to play as my intro All Along the Watchtower by Jimi Hendrix because of one line in which he says, "Let us not talk falsely now. The hour's getting late." And yes, indeed, the hour's getting late, people. The world has gone absolutely nuts. But before we get into that, I want to ask that if you appreciate what you hear, if you think you know somebody that might benefit from this, if you think it was worth listening to, please subscribe to the channel, give us a like. Leave your comments. If your comments are good, we'll listen to that. If you got a comment that you don't like what I say or you don't like my face or whatever, hey, guess what? It's a free country. We still have a First Amendment that protects your right to say what you want to say. Love to hear it. I'll listen to it. I won't censor you. How about that? So, what are we talking about today? Why has the world gone so nuts? Well, first off, my whole effort with everything that I'm doing, with all of my videos, will be to try to bring people together. Why is that so important today? Because we are being divided along every possible line. We are being divided. Black versus white, straight versus gay, women versus men, Muslim versus Christian, Hispanics versus white people, Democrats versus Republicans, liberals versus conservatives, you name it. They're driving wedges in between us, and they do that because it weakens us as a nation, it weakens us as a world. And if we are divided, hating each other, pointing fingers at each other, those who are pulling the strings can do whatever they want to do. They can get by with it because, guess what? We're too busy looking at each other and pointing fingers back and forth. So what I want to talk to you about today is some of the stuff that's been going on in the media for the last week or so, which is just absolutely insane. First on the list is a Hollywood starlet, I guess you could call her. I won't name her. You can go look it up. But came out this week, just a couple days ago, and said that she was ashamed of being white. Well, let's quote her. "I am so sorry I was born white and privileged. It disgusts me and I feel so much shame." Give me a break. Are you kidding me with this crap? You're ashamed because your DNA determined that your skin is white. Now, my own personal thoughts are, she doesn't believe a word of it. It's like the people in Hollywood, the majority of them, are racing as fast as they can to see who can set the bar for being the most ridiculous in their virtue signaling. If you don't know what that means, look it up. It's an absolutely asinine concept, but it just makes no sense to me. How can you apologize or be ashamed for how you were born? You had no choice in the matter. You didn't get to choose if you were born in America or France or India or South Africa or Pakistan or Colombia. You had no choice in the matter. Your DNA determined what you were from birth, and you had no choice. And it's an absolutely ridiculous notion, just another way to try to divide us. Because you know what? There are people out there that have so been brainwashed by this garbage that they're going, "Oh my goodness. Oh, Roseanne Arquette, she is so woke. She must be the wokest of the woke. Oh, isn't she just wonderful?" And they love that kind of crap. But it's garbage. It's absolute BS. And it's just another way to divide us because there are people gullible enough to think, to actually doubt themselves because some washed up B or C list Hollywood actress would say something like this. Man, gee, I'm white. Do you think I should be ashamed? Gosh, I mean, I might have some privilege too. Maybe I should be ashamed. And there are people that are weak enough in the mind to actually think that. Don't fall for it. It's garbage. We have the mayor of Portland who has come out and said he's not going to do anything about Antifa, these cowardly thugs who put masks on their faces and go out and beat people up. He's going to continue to let them run free, run rampant, to interfere with traffic, to cut off the flow of daily life, to stop people just going about their business and living their lives. And he actually told the cops, when these guys are out there beating people up, splitting people's skulls with clubs and 2x4s, the cops can't do anything about it. What? Are you insane? You ought to be ashamed of yourself, Mayor. You ought to be fired. In fact, you ought to be put in jail, if you ask me. We have members of Congress calling for violence against conservatives, against Trump supporters. Now, I identify as a conservative, not ashamed of it. Just the way I grew up, okay? I worked for pretty much everything I had, started working from a very young age. I just think some things make sense and other things don't. I just think that's kind of the way conservatives are. It's just a common sense approach to everything. Now, when I think about this, what's really going on with all of these attacks, and there's attacks on the First Amendment, okay? When you've got Nancy Pelosi coming out and saying that Congress should be deciding what's allowed to go on social media. Now, this is from a woman who came into Congress not worth much, who's now worth close to $30 million. How did that happen? Her salary's somewhere in the neighborhood of $160,000 a year, something like that. This is from a group of people that has accumulated a debt of $22,825,153,825, and it's going up by the second. These are the people that want to determine what goes on social media. Now, why would they want to control what goes on social media? Because there's people like me out here speaking out against their stupidity. That's why they want to control what goes on social media. And what does that come back to? It comes back to the First Amendment. The First Amendment guarantees I get to speak my mind. Regardless of whether you like it or not, I have the right, according to the Constitution of the United States, to speak my mind. Now, if you censor that, which now Google has created AI algorithms that censor conservative viewpoints, you are attacking the First Amendment. They're attacking the Second Amendment. Now, I cannot imagine what it feels like to have a relative or somebody you loved or knew to be killed by some lunatic who, for whatever reason, decided to go in and start shooting people up that he didn't even know. I mean, in all these cases, most of these people are going and killing people they don't even know. To those people that lost loved ones or lost their lives, my heart goes out to you. My condolences. It's absolutely awful. But the answer to stopping gun violence is not taking away the guns from people that obey the laws. I've had guns since I was a child. I mean, literally. I got my first firearm when I was 8, 9 years old, something like that. Now, this is a whole different topic for a whole nother show or episode here. But guns aren't the problem, but it's another way to chip away at the foundations of this country and everything that makes America America. They're trying to demolish the country by strategically attacking certain things. And, you know, I was thinking about this earlier today, and it's not, they want to destroy it, but to destroy it in this grand sort of explosion, nuclear kind of thing would draw too much attention. They couldn't get away with it. So it is a controlled demolition. Now, what controlled demolition, the difference is in just blowing something to pieces or controlled demolition. If I wanted to blow up a building, any building, I could pack it with enough explosives that when I set it off, I could scatter it for half a mile. The problem with that is it draws lots of attention. There's lots of collateral damage. It would damage every building around it. It would kill people. It would flatten cars. It would do all this other damage that wasn't intended. Draw too much attention is the main thing. But Controlled demolition is different in that there are strategically placed charges throughout a building so that when they set it off, it comes down flat, pretty much stays in its own footprint. And what we're seeing right now with these attempts to divide us is an attempted controlled demolition of the Constitution, of the thing that preserves this country as this country. And I'm telling you, people, you and I, the common folks, better get serious about preserving the Constitution. Those of us who can rationally and reasonably think, converse with each other, and talk, we need to understand that it doesn't matter if you are straight, if you're gay, if you're white, if you're black, if you're Christian or any other religious persuasion. We all have much, much more in common with each other than we do those that seek to divide us. So, that's my rant for today. I want to thank y'all for watching. No music to close us out, but I do want to ask that if you, again, if you appreciate what you hear, if you agree with what I'm saying, or if you don't, we'll listen to your comments either way. Subscribe to the channel, give us a thumbs up, give us your comments, good or bad. We like the good ones. We may not like the bad ones, but guess what? We still have a First Amendment right now, which means you can say what you want to say, and you know what else? I'm not going to censor you. So we sure appreciate y'all being here. We appreciate you viewing. We hope you come back and tune in again. We'll see you next time, people.